Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in today. This is episode one of Strategic Affairs with Mark Chandler. Episode one is nothing more than what Strategic Affairs with Mark Chandler is all about. And our objective is to inform you of matters that affect our way of life and our national security, your way of life and your national security. The world's a complex place. I can't make it any more simple. I can't simplify that complexity, and I'm not going to dumb it down to you. That would be just unfair and be an insult to you, really. So what I'm trying to do, or what our objective here is to focus on making that complex world, that complex environment more comprehensible. Today's world, your world, is more interconnected. There's no way around that. We cannot be an island in unto ourselves as much as we might want to. There are events happening all over the world that have some sort of unseen impact or future impact to us, to our way of life, our national security. Those events can be big and those events can be small. What we're going to try to do here at Strategic Affairs with Mark Chandler is try to identify those events and their potential impact, right? Because what I want you to understand, and for those of you who are just listening in, I have a world map behind me, that those events that happen over there absolutely can affect us over here in the United States. And I would argue all over the world. So what we want to do is realize what that impact is to us and what that future impact might be to us. Create that better understanding, that better information. But what gives me the right to speak as an authority on any of these topics? Well, a little bit about me. I'm a retired Marine Corps intelligence officer. I served all over the world. I served in two combat environments, the first being Desert Shield, Desert Storm in 1990-91. Later on, I served in Operation Iraqi Freedom, the initial invasion of Iraq in 2003. After retiring from the Marine Corps, I was fortunate enough to be able to serve as a senior intelligence executive in the Department of Defense. I served in the Office of Secretary of Defense Warfighter Support, and then I was fortunate, one of my most challenging jobs outside of combat operations and combat intelligence was as the JCS J2 deputy. And for a short time, I was also the interim J2, a tremendous experience, a great learning experience, and right at the forefront of our national security. After leaving the JCS Deputy J2 position, I moved to Defense Intelligence Agency main headquarters and served as the director of the Middle East and Africa Regional Center. That was the largest intelligence production center in DIA at the time, and we were responsible for all intelligence across the entire Middle East and the continent of Africa. After retiring again, I moved forward, and what I did is I was able to be fortunate enough to pay it forward. I'm a professor at Coastal Carolina University, and I teach tomorrow's leaders, tomorrow's future intelligence professionals, intelligence and security subjects as they move forward in their collegiate career. And I'm fortunate enough to say we've got some great young people moving forward out there. Additionally, I do a lot of TV interviews. Why they keep coming back, I don't know, but apparently I answer the questions that they've got. So I speak on national and international news broadcasts, both in live TV, recorded TV, and in the print media. So if I'm going to keep doing that, as long as they keep coming back and asking me. So there's a little bit of my background to hopefully allow you to understand maybe I do have a little bit of ability to speak with authority on these subjects out there. Now, while my focus is mainly international, strategic affairs does have impact domestically. So I will also delve into the domestic situation, whether it's government affairs, national security, national intelligence. I will talk about those. I'm going to bring that into wherever we're having this discussion because it also affects us. But generally, we'll stay focused internationally out there. Now, who are you going to get in this podcast? Well, eventually, we hope to bring some guests in. But for the time being, you're probably going to get Professor Mark sometimes. Now, that guy, he's a little bit dry. Okay. He's going to teach you in an academic format, not teach you. He's going to inform you out there. Sometimes you're going to get Marine Mark. That guy can be a little direct and he might get up in your face a little bit out there. Sometimes you're going to get Alabama Mark and you're going to sit there and scratch your head and try to understand what that guy was saying and what he meant. But through it all, no matter who you get, you're getting a combination of those guys and you're getting our honest approach and our best look at the world and how it affects us. Now, that approach we use, we're going to build that on a solid analytic foundation. I've served almost 40 years doing intelligence work at one level or another. So I'm going to work on that and I'm going to give you an unbiased assessment. Okay, that's what we say in the intelligence world. We give assessments. But really, what is that? They're outlooks, they're potential impacts. So I'm not saying you've got to agree with those assessments. I'm not saying you've got to agree with our facts, but you've got to realize I'm focused on a foundation of factual basis and forming that assessment based on facts. All right. Am I going to have opinions? You bet I am. All right. But I'm going to clearly delineate when I've got an opinion versus when I'm talking about my fact based assessment. What I like to pride myself on, though, okay, so maybe this is a little bit of hubris on my part, is that I'm forming that opinion based on the facts as they've evolved over time. My opinions change. I hope your opinions change. I hope you have opinions, and I don't want them to always agree with me. Right? If that's the case, then we're going to lose that opportunity for discourse and disagreement, which is what makes America great. We have the opportunity to go out there, gain knowledge, learn critical thinking, and develop our own ideas. In America, we shouldn't have all the same ideas. We've got to have that open discourse as we work our way through the complexities that are our society and that are the global situation in which we find ourselves operating. So hopefully, when you walk away from one of these podcasts after listening or watching, you'll be a little bit better informed. But you're not going to be completely informed. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. But what I hope I do is create a better understanding of that complex. I make it a little bit more comprehensible to you, right? But that you also go out and you are better informed to go do your own research, gather that information, and kind of look through the noise that's out there in the world of information and kind of dig into some of the facts that you can see. And then you form your opinion. Again, if you agree with me, great. If you don't, that's outstanding as well. That's what we're trying to do, promote a better understanding and help everybody have, a better capability as they go forward to understand the complexities of our world. All right. So here's kind of the rough outline of how each podcast is going to go. I'm going to have an event, right? And that event is basically going to be a summary of what happened or what is happening as we're looking at the world today. And then I'm going to give that assessment, that summary, if you will, which is a description of why it matters or what is likely to happen as a result of this event that is evolving or that will evolve over time. Now, I could spend hours on all these different global events and domestic events out there, but I don't think you want to sit there and listen to me. So what I'm going to do is hit these fast hitting events and impact statements out there. We'll keep it short, we'll keep you informed, and we're going to move forward as we go on there. But what I promise you is I will not simplify it. I am going to make that complex more comprehensible. I'm not ever going to talk down to any of you as we work our way forward out there. Our ultimate goal is to ensure your knowledge is enhanced for global affairs and how those global affairs affect us. Now, I want to say thank you to listening to today's podcast number 1, which was nothing more than explaining what strategic affairs with Mark Chandler is all about. But as a reminder, you can tune in on Spotify or watch us on YouTube. If you're curious to learn more about world affairs or see some of the other things we talk about, you can reach our staff at CASIL, CASIL, which is Chandler Associates for Strategy, Intelligence, and Leadership. Go to our webpage at mark-chandler.com for more of my in-depth media interviews or some of the written reports that we provide. You can also reach out for services that we offer in leadership advice, threat assessments around the world, or just maybe a more in-depth look at the world from your that you need for your perspective out there. If you want to reach a deeper dive right now on the ongoing, yes, it's still happening, Israel-Hamas war, or get a better understanding of what might be happening in the Middle East, you can also find my published book, The Israel-Hamas War, Making the Complex Comprehensible, which is available on Amazon.com. Again, thank you for tuning in today. Have a great day.